What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Got some news regarding Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3. The trilogy is slated to take place on December 19th in the Las Vegas Raiders' new NFL stadium. That week of the fight, the Raiders will be playing a Thursday night game, therefore leaving that time and day available for Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. They'll have enough time to configure the stadium, get the ring in there, and get the floor seats in there and get everything set up for a crowd. It's not going to be a full capacity, but they're hoping to put in, a crowd there. Maybe 1/3 is full, maybe 1/4 is full. Maybe around that capacity. Maybe 1/2 full. We don't know when we get toward the end of the year. But I've got some troubling news that I think is going to prevent this fight from taking place in that location. Mark Davis came out earlier and said that he can't envision no fans being in attendance at the Las Vegas Raiders home games this season. That's what he said. He says, I don't envision us having any fans, any audience, any people at attendance at any of our home games. And if that's the case, then Deontay Wilder trying to get his title back against Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury, in the third fight, slated to take place December 19th in the Las Vegas Raiders' new NFL stadium, owned by Mark Davis, will not take place there. Now you're hearing it here first, people. That fight is not going to take place. If what Mark Davis is saying is true, and I have no reason to believe what he's saying is untrue, given the fact that he is the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's come out and said that he doesn't see any way that they're going to have fans at the Las Vegas Raiders 8 home games. And if that's the case, that's going to pretty much put an end to Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 3, because that fight needs to be held with a live audience. They made $17 million at the live gate in the second fight. Drew a huge amount of money for their second fight. And I don't think any of the promoters will be willing to stage a fight at that arena without some audience. Now, the other location they were talking about, Bob Arum is pretty much, the head of this ship. He's the captain of this ship as far as, top rank ESPN and the PBC trying to get this fight by the end of the year. And he did bring up Macau, China. But in a recent interview, he kind of left some uncertainty about that fight taking place in Macau, China, as I think they have 6 properties that'll be responsible as far as putting up the money, the revenue. They're talking about putting up a huge site fee for the fight if they get that fight there. But he made a statement in a recent interview saying that he didn't know if they would be able to get that fight in by the end of the year. They still got to go through the proper protocols as far as when the government will be allowing them to have events, including crowds. And they haven't given them the go-ahead yet. He don't know if it's going to be at the end of the year or maybe be early next year. So right now, man, we're at a crossroads. Meet me at the crossroads, Bone Thugs and Harmony, one of the best hip-hop rap groups of all time. Meet me at the crossroads. This fight here is at a crossroads. I don't think, if, like I said, Mark Davis is the owner, if he's saying they're not going to have any live crowds for their 8 home games, that means they're not going to be able to hold that fight there either, because that fight is relying on having some form of a crowd. So if that is indeed the case, that means they're going to have to go to a foreign country, where they'll be able to put up a site fee to kind of, cancel out the live gate that they would be missing out on with a live crowd. So that's what I'm hearing, man. Mark Davis, owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, came out earlier and said that the Las Vegas Raiders, in his view, will not be playing in front of fans this season. And if that is the case, that's pretty much going to put an end to Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3, the trilogy taking place in Las Vegas. That's going to put an end to that. So it's a lot of moving parts. We still got a lot of things that can happen in these next couple of months. But if I'm Bob Arum, the CEO, he needs to be looking at alternate locations, man, because right now it's looking unlikely that Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3 will happen in Las Vegas in the new Las Vegas Raiders NFL stadium. It's looking very unlikely based on what the owner of the NFL team said. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. But there's some other locations, man. I know what Bob Arum was talking about. Other fights. He mentioned some other countries, in particular Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. He said Croatia came in with a huge offer to stage the fight there. But Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing, I don't think they're showing a lot of interest in having that fight there. They want to kind of control where AJ fights, and they want to, by all means, have that fight in the UK, you know, with maybe a small crowd where they can charge astronomical prices. Therefore, can negate the, the fights that Anthony Joshua usually has, that, you know, having in Wembley Stadium in front of 60,000 fans and stuff like that, where you get a lot of money from that live gate. They can kind of compensate for that by having maybe 1,000 people in attendance or something like that, and charge astronomical prices for those, for those seats. And that's how they can make that money up. So, but Croatia came in with a bid for that fight. So maybe Bob Arum can go back to the Croatia officials and ask them, what about if I bring Fury Wilder 3 there? You know, would you be willing to pull up similar money or maybe more money? Maybe that fight's probably worth, I know it ain't no problem. That fight's worth way more than AJ and Pulev. And that might be part of the problem. They might be able to afford the AJ Pulev, the Croatia officials. They might not be able to afford Wilder Fury 3, but nevertheless, you go there and, you check that situation out. Maybe you can bring them there. Then you go, you check back in with Macau China, find out the status on them. Can they get that fight in possibly by the end of the year, or will you have to wait till next year for that fight to take place in Macau China? And then you go to Bahrain. That's another fight that they was looking to, that Bob Arum was looking, that another country that Bob Arum was looking to stage Pacquiao versus Terence Crawford. Now, he came back in a recent interview and said that fight, those officials in Bahrain said they're not going to be able to put on any live fights put on any kind of events with crowds until next year. So that's the reason why the Terence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao fight has been put on the back burner, because Bahrain is saying they're not going to be able to put on a fight of that magnitude with crowds and stuff like that, and they don't have the go ahead from the officials to stage that fight this year. It have to be sometime in the early 2021 for them to be able to, if they had to predict. This thing is so unpredictable. They thinking the Bahrain officials think that 2021 would be the early 2021 would be the best time to stage a Pacquiao versus Crawford fight. So maybe you go back to them and maybe see if you can get that done with those officials. Maybe they'll be able to come up with a proposal for Wilder Fury 3 to take place early 2021. So the bottom line is, this fight is not guaranteed to happen this year. This is a big roadblock going on right now as far as Las Vegas Raiders' new NFL stadium having the fight. And like I said, if they're not going to have any fans there for the Raiders' 8 home games, and they're losing a lot of money, I don't think they're going to okay, well, we're going to block the Raiders from having any fans, but we're going to let Wilder and Fury come in and have a big fight with a crowd. I don't see that scenario taking place. So that's what I'm hearing, man. Some breaking news. You're not going to get this from any other YouTube channels and stuff that I'm telling you right now. I got inside knowledge that Mark Davis came out and said, again, that the Las Vegas Raiders will not be playing any home games in front of a crowd this season. And that's the same statement that is tentatively scheduled to have Wilder Fury 3. So therefore, I don't see that fight taking place at that stadium. So Bob Arum, Al Heyman, y'all gonna have to look at alternative locations and see if y'all can try to get this fight at the end of the year. If it happens at the end of the year, I think the Macau China is the strongest possibility. If you have to take it into 2021, and then maybe you start looking at other locations. Croatia could be a location, maybe this year too, for included with Macau China, Croatia. You can look at that, but you have to see how the numbers work as far as that goes. That's because the numbers for AJ Pulev is, in my opinion, is much lower than the numbers for Fury Wilder 3. So but maybe you look at that and see if you can get the numbers to work on that end, and then you can look at Bahrain. I would think the numbers for Pacquiao Crawford would probably be a little less than Fury Wilder 3 too, but you can see if you get those numbers to work there, see if those officials might be willing to have that fight there. So it's just some other alternate locations that Bob Arum and Al Heyman will have to look at, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. Leave your comments in the comment section what you think about Wilder Fury 3 not happening in Las Vegas Let me know what you think and what you think about that fight. Do you think they should wait till 2021? And what do you think about Croatia, Bahrain, as I butchered their name, and Macau, China? Those 3 locations for the fight. Or you think they should just wait till 2021 and still try to get that fight in Las Vegas and shoot for the early 2021 to stage Wilder Fury 3 in Las Vegas? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And this is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.